Thanks for tuning into our edit sesh. I'm Effie.
And I'm Dorothy, two passionate photographers from Hamilton, Ontario.
Join us as we dive into answering FAQs, share tips, and discuss life's moments, all while savoring the rich aroma of our favorite brew and working through our edit cues. Whether you're a photographer or a pal,
we're beyond happy you're joining us. Have we gotten any sponsor emails yet?
I don't know. I haven't been checking the email.
Oh my goodness.
We could be rich. If we had a Patreon that would make us money, we would make time for it.
Successful people probably make a ton of money, but like, what are we talking about? Like $1? Because then, like, I'm okay.
It's like my mom, Joy, Jules, who's gonna give us money. Those are the three people that are gonna give us $1 each.
We just don't know who's listening, and if you are listening, like, you gotta tag us, let us know.
Oh, okay. You know what? My uncle actually gave me a good idea for this because he was telling me he was listening to the podcast, and I was like, wow, you're listening? Because every time someone tells me, I'm just surprised.
Yeah, why would you listen?
Like, I would love to know who actually is listening. And he's like, you should do a contest, and we make it through the podcast. So we like say like what you have to do, like on our next post or something, you have to comment like this word or something. Okay. So we know who's listening.
Are we doing that now, or are we gonna think about it?
Let's think about it during the podcast, and then at the end of the podcast, we'll say the rules.
Okay. I'm thinking about like what you did. We should just make the podcast word like auction. I like to walk into your house, auction. Wow, you should get sponsored by Rose Hill Auction.
I would love to.
Like, seriously. Wait, is this if you're listening? Auction?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Alrighty. So, life update for everyone, including me.
What?
Like you're...
Oh, I'm like, we have the same one? What's happened to us?
No, we don't.
Okay. Go. What's your life update?
At the beginning of like, I was like, oh, we have a podcast break. And I was like, bye, see you never. And then you came over like that day. And I was like, oh, I guess I'll still see you. And then that was the last time I ever saw you ever again.
We've been busy.
Yeah, you sure. Well, yeah, both of us.
Yeah.
And then I'll randomly have like an afternoon off that's like, I have no idea what's coming. And then I'm like, I have no one to hang out with because everybody has like things set in motion. And then like, I'll randomly have like a Tuesday morning off, and I'm just like,
what do I do?
Sit here with my thoughts, I guess.
You're all done. You're like already caught up on your editing and stuff.
I caught up on editing. Yes. I finished the wedding.
Nice.
It wasn't that big. It was like 700 photos.
Nice.
All sessions caught up, but then I shot one last night, tomorrow wedding, and then Sunday I have 2, Monday I have another one.
Wow. A Monday wedding?
No, Monday is maternity.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So your life data is up that you've been setting up furniture, and
yeah, our living room is, I think, furniture wise complete. We just have to decorate a little bit more. Oh, was it last week we got beams put into the basement? Did I tell you about this?
Yeah.
Did I tell the podcast about it?
No.
Okay. So our house, when we bought it, the inspector said, you should probably put like a post in this area. And then we got the structural engineer to come in. He's like, no. You need like 3 beams. Like your house is like sinking. So we're like, oh, great. That's like probably $6,000 or $7,000. So we ended up doing it. But there was a whole week where we didn't have electricity.
Yeah.
For most of the house. The plumbing, they did like a temporary plumbing line and then they fixed it after. But yeah, we were living like pilgrims. Like we didn't have a dishwasher. We didn't have laundry. Keith hated it.
Yeah.
I was like, it's fine.
You have
like camping.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I love camping.
In your house. So unconventional.
But anyways, beams are in. Our house is safe now. Everyone can come over and not worry about it falling over.
Like, is wild to me where like people buy a house and there's like this like things never get fixed until you sell it. So like if you buy a house and you live there for like 50 years and then like you don't like ever like why would you ever get someone to come and check on something because you're like we've been living here
and just
yeah
sell
you
it.
sell it and then they're like this is basically like a death pit.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a death pit.
I know.
It was fine for all those years that they were living in it too, and it probably would have been fine for the years that we're in it as well.
Yeah,
it's just better for resale.
Like I know somebody who had to get like work done and they had to like dig up the whole pipe, put a new one in, and it ended up being like a couple grand.
We actually want to do that too.
Oh,
because they're lead pipes.
Oh, yeah. That's why we got a water purifier thingy.
Nice. I think ours is like, our plumber said that it's actually probably okay because it's so old. It's just like a lot of calcium buildup. You're not actually even getting any lead in your water.
Oh.
But it's the pressure. The pressure's so bad. Coming from Oakville, like the water
Oakville's
pressure.
brand new.
Yeah.
Everything
and
works
Keith
there.
just like fucking loves like hard water pressure like on his back. And I love like the soft trickling waterfall. So I don't mind it. But he can't stand it.
Oh,
So
and there's like not much you can do. It's not like you can just buy a new like shower head and be like, oh,
No.
better pressure.
No. It's like 30 psi.
Is
but
there
it's supposed to be
anything
like 70
you
or something.
can do to the pipe, like get it cleaned out? I have no idea. Anyways, I'm like, is this interesting?
No, I don't think so. Something really exciting for me this week is the Canadian Open. I went yesterday, and it's all the way through Sunday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Today I'm skipping it because of this, but I'm going to the concert, which is later, and it's Our Lady Peace and July Talk.
Crazy.
Do you know them?
Yes, I obviously know Our Lady Peace.
Do you know July Talk?
I actually don't think I do, but maybe if I heard a song, I'd be like, oh yeah, I've heard them.
Probably.
I'm somewhat bad at names of bands.
Yeah.
I'm like whenever we do trivia and they're like, who played this? I'm like, I have no idea, but I can sing the whole song.
Yeah. I think you would know them. They're really cool.
I'll look them up later.
But yeah, we go to the Canadian Open every year because our friend plays on the tour and we just follow him. I was telling you about this last night.
Yeah.
But what I was saying was that we follow just one person and we walk the whole course with him and we just cheer for him in every hole. So we don't really see any of the other players and we don't do any of the activities. We're just like there for him.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of walking. I can't believe he does that every single day and that's his job.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I mean, it probably helps them stay fit.
Yeah. He's an athlete. He's a professional athlete.
Professional walker with a pole.
With a pole.
It's actually just pole walking.
And he doesn't have to carry it because he has a caddy, but like, still.
This might be a dumb question.
Ask it.
But why don't they use golf carts?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. I have no idea, to be honest. It probably
comes down to like something in the rules where it's like must be carried or something like.
Yeah, it's like old school mentality probably. Yeah. I'm also trying to figure out like how spectators would watch too, because like then we wouldn't be able to keep up with them.
Yeah, but then like he could at least have a break, you know, like sit down for a second.
Yeah.
Water. Yeah. A snack.
I don't know. I have no idea. Good question.
Okay, ask Keith, get back to me.
Okay. They're also like not allowed to wear shorts. Like it's a weird rule. The caddies can wear shorts, I think, but the players can't.
It's so interesting. And it probably goes back to the whole like men's club. These are the rules. It's like super old, like just the way they do it.
Yeah.
So interesting how like some sports need to like evolve and like like change, and then there's some it's like these are the rules. Like I feel like cricket's probably like one of those too, where it's like, oh, don't update this game at all.
Yeah. It even goes back to like some clubs never used to let girls play.
Yeah.
And there's still a club in Canada. It's called the National. They might start. I don't know if they're letting girls anymore, but I know that they weren't for a really long time. They weren't letting girls play there. So wild.
It is wild.
Yeah.
Girls got to start a sport of our own.
No boys allowed.
Yeah. Like, what would we even start?
I don't know.
Well,
We could have done that for pickleball, maybe.
Yeah. Too bad they already took it.
Imagine, probably Guy invented it.
Oh, probably. Like, guys invent the, like, weirdest stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure guys invented nylons.
Oh, yeah.
And, like,
guys invented everything.
Probably invented the bra. And probably tampons.
Yeah, probably.
I need to look that all up. The pill, definitely.
Definitely.
Anything that's uncomfortable, guy designed it. Yeah, my life update is, like, gardening, working.
Nice.
Did SPINCO. Didn't die. I actually feel like I did okay, but it's really hard to gauge. Like, obviously, we were talking about, oh, you can go on their website and look up what around the world is. And I was like, wow. So this is the difference between, like, me and other people. Because I'm like, I just sign up and then I go.
Yeah.
I don't really stress about things. And I'm like, oh, well, whatever. Like, I'll figure it out. And I do this, like, with most things in life. And then while I'm doing it, I'm like, I actually don't know how to do this.
I was watching people do around the world, and everyone was kind of doing it different.
Yeah. It was, and they were pretty fast at it. So I was like, oh, I don't know, like, what. I think the thing is like, they keep tapping different parts of the bar, but, like, it's, and it's in the same motion, but then, like, maybe people, like, mess it up.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. So anyways, it's on their website. So if you're ever going to go to SPINCO, I would say look that one up. Because I was like, what? I mean, it's not a big deal if you don't do it, but.
So they also tell you the secret on how to go fast?
No, that one, I did talk to a girl because I was saying that, like, I was thinking about maybe joining more regularly, just, like, signing up whenever I felt like going. And she was like, every Monday at, like, 1, I, like, sign into my classes or whatever, or get on a wait list or whatever. And then she was saying, like, yeah, just, like, the more you go, like, the better you get at, like, the beat and stuff.
Yeah.
And
you just have to be more fit.
I don't even
freaking hard.
think that's it. I think it's something about being in the flow of, like, the cycle.
No, you have to, like, yes, but for that speed, you have to, like, engage your core so hard the whole time. Like, you basically have to be floating.
Yeah.
To go that fast.
I suppose. I guess.
Because I can keep a beat. So can you, I'm sure.
No, I really can't.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I know the beat I'm supposed to be on, but my body will not keep up.
I think I was okay with not keeping up in those scenarios because I was like, I don't really see the benefit of, like, speed cycling like that for me in the moment. But, like, yeah, if you're engaging your core and you're actually doing it correctly, like, yeah, sure, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But sweated a ton. That was crazy.
It's also a small, hot room.
Yeah.
It's kind of like hot yoga. I feel like I sweated more just because it was a hot room.
Yeah. I was like, is this on purpose that, like, we can't breathe?
Yeah. Am I supposed to faint?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Am I doing this right?
So, yeah. Those are my updates, I think. And
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I have another update. Remember how on the last podcast I was telling you how I wanted to get more into headshots and stuff?
Yeah, did you get stuff?
I pulled the trigger.
Whoa.
I spent like $1,500.
Oh.
I don't have it here. I sent it to my parents' house in Oakville. Because
you didn't want to get it stolen, yeah.
So I'll get it this weekend. But yeah, I'm so excited. I got like 4 different colored backdrops because I really, really want to do dog photography.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Also headshots, but dog photography.
So you're gonna set that up in, like, your back room and, like,
probably
studio?
Yeah. Not like permanently.
Do you want to have, like, a dog day?
Yeah, I will.
Nice. I'll come help.
Thanks. I might even try to I think it'd be cool to set it up in the backyard on the deck.
Yeah. It's just, of course, natural elements. And then if you have more light at some point, it might still mess things up, right?
Yeah, I think I would probably schedule it for later in the day. Just like an hour at twilight.
Yeah.
Or something.
And Juno has all these neighborhood friends, so, like, they can all come. Mm-hmm. I love that you're like, I'm going to start with headshots, and you're like, dogs first. I mean, you do have to practice, so.
I do.
Yeah.
I do have to practice. The dogs won't judge me. I don't think.
I guess so. The point of the roll of the paper is you cut it when you're done with it. Because I was like, what if the dog pees on it?
Yeah.
Or you can roll it back up.
Yeah. That's how dirty the dog is.
Yeah. Headshot meetup. That was my high and low. I don't know. Not together, but I was just segueing into high and lows.
Okay.
I did it so smoothly until then. It was good. It was fun.
It was super fun.
I think everybody enjoyed it. And like classically, as soon it was over, like so many people was like, I want to come to the next one. I was like,
yeah.
I planned this one because people couldn't go to the last one. I know. I was like, I don't know if I can do another one. Like it is pretty chill and easy, but it's still like hard because like and so many people made it out, and some people who couldn't make, like I think Brie was sick, and then there's some kid related stuff, which is like totally, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But like now that we're heading into like June, July, August, like I just don't foresee people being able to like keep a date.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Should I do another one?
Yes.
Should I wait?
No. A lot of people messaged me as well that they want to come.
Oh.
And I'm like, you just gotta follow Dorothy and watch her stories.
I'm like, well, we could plan it through edit sesh.
Okay.
Less people see that story, but like it could be like an edit sesh thing.
Could be. It wouldn't be any different than it normally is.
You have to come.
I come anyway.
Yeah. I'm like, I changed the date so you could make it.
I know. Keith's like, don't you have enough pictures of yourself? And I'm like, Keith, I'm supporting Dorothy.
Yeah.
I have to go.
Yeah. I actually wanted to get one podcast photo. I was like yelling for you at one point.
Oh, really?
But you were in the other alley and the music was blaring and I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, sorry. I was trying to keep the vibe up.
Yeah. And then I was like, I got home and I went through my photos. I was like, edit sesh didn't get one photo.
True.
It's not a big deal.
I took one of you in autumn.
We can just Photoshop your photo with mine.
Yeah. That's how our cover thing is anime.
Yeah. Although I think you're doing things in your photos that don't make sense to be doing beside me. So that sounds really inappropriate.
I know. I'm just doing weird shit.
Not really. Your hands are up and I'm just standing. So like it'd be funny because you'd be like,
I'm sure I have normal ones.
You'd be like this and I'd be like,
I'm sure there's one normal one.
Yeah. It was fun.
It was fun. Thanks for organizing that.
Oh, for sure. Okay, I got a question for you.
Okay.
You probably already read it.
No, I actually didn't.
Oh. I was like, she's going to see this, but that's fine. Okay, you can only pick 2.
Okay.
Or should I say 1?
I don't know. How many is there?
Maybe I should say you can only pick 1.
Okay.
Okay, so perfect light for every session. Make over 6 figures without having to jam-pack your weeks. Clients that pose themselves.
Don't care about that.
Free gas.
Don't care about that.
Never having to change your camera settings again. They're just like perfect every time magically.
Okay.
Or you get your dream camera setup.
This one's really easy for me.
Oh.
Do you know which one I would pick?
I think you're a 2. I think you'd pick 2.
Yeah. I am a 2 and I would pick 2.
Yeah. Make over 6 figures without having to jam pack your weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my logic here was I wanted to have perfect light for every session.
Mm-hmm, that's a close second.
Because 1, it makes everything easier while shooting. 2, it makes everything easier while editing. So you can be quicker at those things. Plus then your work looks good. So you would probably book more work, which means you'd end up booking 6 figures without really jamming pack your weekends. Or
you could.
Potentially. And you'd have enough money to eventually get your dream camera set up. Crack the code.
Or you could just skip all those steps and make the 6 figures without jam packing your weekend.
I get to have more bang for my buck, like literally.
I just assume that you would have really, really good photos if you're not jam packing.
That is
and you're making over 6. I mean, actually, I don't really care what output they are if I'm making over 6 figures.
Have you not seen these people on TikTok where they're like, you can make this much money, and you look at their accounts and you're like, this is garbage.
Yeah.
Images, but
who cares?
They're making
money.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know, man.
Good question.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. One last thing I really want to talk about. We went to a spa last week. Did you see it? Went with Joy and the neighbors.
Yeah.
So Joy's like the best neighbor. She just like plans neighborly things.
This is why I was stressed when she was your neighbor, because I was like, oh, now I never see you and you've replaced me with Joy.
No. I mean, I see her a lot just because she's here.
Yeah.
But she's good at planning neighbor things.
Oh, she's good at planning everything.
I know. But it was really cute because all the neighbors went. Yeah. So we went to this spa in Markham called Go Place, and it's the friggin' sickest spa I've ever been to in my life. It's like, she said it's a converted movie theater.
Yeah.
And there's like so many different types of rooms, like saunas, steam rooms, hot tubs, cold showers. I did a lot of the cold shower too.
Did you? Oh, you did? Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah, like after every hot thing, I went into the cold thing.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, it was really good. Anyways, it's a amazing place. They like make you wear their outfits.
It's so funny when I go thrifting, I see those fits all the time.
Oh, yeah. No way.
I kind of like them. I'm like, not that they're green, but like the checkered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, that's your vibe.
It's really, really disappointing because I went with like a girl who's like really small. You know Deanna. I went with Deanna. Mm-hmm. So they gave her like an extra small and they looked at me and they didn't say anything and handed mine. It was like an XXL and I was like, thanks. I was like, I'll just walk to the bathroom and cry. It's totally fine.
Oh.
They just like look you up and down. They don't even ask you your size. They're like, here. And I'm like,
they're pros.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing. Okay, let's talk about Pam.
Pamela. So much going on about Pam.
I know.
So I was actually thinking about this because I was talking to somebody and I was like, oh, I don't really know how you guys became friends. And I was thinking about it because you went to her goodbye party. Mm-hmm. I know when I started in photography, like there's people that were in my life that like really helped me grow. Mm-hmm. So they're always like really special. And I was like, I think that's what Pam was for you too, maybe?
Yeah.
But then I was like, I don't know if that's true because you started in videography, then went to photography. And that was like, what, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Pam was really helpful for me like in the last couple of years in terms of pricing and just like client stuff.
Yeah.
She was a great mentor. And like she just became a mentor because I just asked questions and she's really friendly and nice. And she used to be a teacher.
Yeah.
So
it just comes naturally. And those are the people you want. Like Claire was basically my mentor, but it was like more of like a friendship that like again like you would ask questions and things would just come out naturally. But then there's like a sense of like I would like to learn from you, whereas like me and you, whenever we give advice, we're both like we'll probably do the opposite.
The opposite of each other, like
of
we would do
we
things
suggest.
Different. Oh, I see.
I was saying to somebody, I was like, I really need to get like because I was like, I want to have my budget so dialed in that I could be like, this is the projection of what I want to make this year to make sure like everything's kosher and stuff. Someone's like, why don't you talk to Effie about that? I was like, no.
Someone suggested me for that?
Yeah. I was like, nice. I would talk to anybody else. Love her.
Wow.
But no. Like,
I wouldn't even know what to tell you for that because I don't even.
Yeah, no, I'd actually just need to do bookkeeping and then like sit down and figure that out.
Yeah, I do projections for the year, and I do like what a high and a low could be for each month, and I try to make it my high, but like. I just see what I have booked for every month and like this is the minimum I'm going to make, and then like with the add-ons and like with extra image purchases like I could make up to this, and then so like I do plan out my year and I kind of know how much I'm going to make every year. Yeah. But other than that, it's just like whatever comes.
It's so interesting how like everybody does it differently because like I feel like majority of photographers are like I'm too booked, I shouldn't take this, and then they just do. And then that's when we fall into that like burnout and like all that kind of stuff, as opposed to like booking ahead or knowing what like an ideal number for us per month is. Yeah. and like protecting like our mental health and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I haven't even figured that out yet, like what my ideal number is, because now that I have a house and we're paying a lot more things, I don't even know what I'm should be making, but I think I'll figure that out at the end of the year.
Yeah.
See how it's going.
Well, we both have to do it. We both got to figure that out. But we digress. Back to Pam.
Back to Pam. Pam, I would say, was like the reason I changed my pricing structure. I stole her pricing structure. She gave it to me.
Which one was it?
Yeah, she gave it to me.
You were like, I stole it and then told her I took it. And she's like, that's fine.
She gave it to me. But yeah, I would definitely credit her for like helping me with that. And then, so I actually met her through SnapClick, which was like a photography group that we were part of.
Yeah.
And she just was my favorite. So I just started hanging with her.
Yeah.
Plus she's at Millworks all the time and we're at Millworks all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really know when I met her. It's so funny. I've been thinking a lot about this. I can't remember how I've met like maybe half of my current friends, because it's usually like a natural progression, right? Like you meet one time and then you meet again. So I was just thinking, I was like, I don't really know when I met Pam.
She was probably at the first meetup at Millworks that I did with Pam, and I invited you.
Yeah. That's probably it.
That was probably it.
Yeah, which is interesting because I was like, with these headshot exchanges that we're doing, it like my friend Claire did them during COVID, kind of.
Yeah.
Because you could socially hang out with like whatever it was, 10 people.
Yeah.
So we were doing them a lot back then, and it was always really fun, and like it was used to be like try to be like more creative, which is like always really hard when it's a solo person, because you're like, oh, what do I do this one person for posing, and then it sometimes comes off like very like strict and like structured and very headshotty, which is interesting.
It has become something just like more fun and like playful and like supportive. Like at the headshot exchange, everyone was like, yes, queen, work it. We're all like yelling at each other and supporting each other and just like dancing.
It seemed like it was a really good vibe. I feel like this whole combo this morning has been like integrated. We just keep going back and forth. And they're like, back to Pam.
Back to Pam. Okay, so I really wanted to talk about community with Pam, because that is how I met her, like through community meetups. And that is a lot of what we've been talking about for this episode. I feel like she's very great at building community. And she's also really great at, this is what we've been using her for a lot, when we have like a client problem.
Like, what do we call it?
A client problem. We're like, we give her a situation, we're like, Pam, how would you handle this? Like, what would Pam do?
Pam is basically HR.
Yeah.
She should just... Well, she's a good photographer, but I was like, she just should be like, pay a subscription to Pam for like HR.
Yeah. That's actually something she could start implementing.
Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Yo,
we should start it for her.
Cut this out of the podcast. Let's build it. We'll just use ChatGPT.
No, she's way better than ChatGPT.
Yeah.
She's actual lyrical genius in communication.
So it's so true about community, though, because I have noticed that people who have a community, however big or small, tend to do better in certain things or have like support, right? Like that's all it is about it. Like I'm reading like the little tickers that you have on here for community, and it's like fast track learning, enhanced skill, like free advice, like all those things are so true. Like I think about when I started and I was shooting like I don't know, like f-stop like 2.5, and somebody was like, oh, if you shoot wider you might like really enjoy like your images more. And I was like, and they worded it so nicely, and I remember it being like, it wasn't like a you should do this, it was just like, if you did, maybe, or you should give it a try. And I remember trying it and being like, wow, like mind blown.
I'm never going back.
Basically.
I'm shooting wide open forever.
But like, I'm too scared to like, sometimes like the other day I shot at like 1.6 and I was like, what is even the point? Like
1.6. That's a weird number.
you're
1.8.
well 1 point yeah. I was like I don't know.
Oh, okay. No, I just thought it's weird because none of my lenses go down to that. That's why I was like, I've never heard that number. I guess it's not a weird number.
That's really funny. What
My lenses are 1.8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine are like my 85 is a 1.2,
Yeah.
which is just insanity. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I just don't know if I can, like, obviously
Yeah.
I can, but I'm just like, why?
No. Yeah. You
But-
don't need that for sure.
I mean, it's already so creamy. So I guess it would just be extra cream,
Yeah.
extra whipped cream on top.
Nice. Okay, let's do a quick intro to Pam because we have to call her.
Yeah.
Did you write anything for her or should we just make it up?
I have a guest intro written.
Oh, good.
And
Okay,
you can read it.
I will. All right. Pam, the creative force behind 10 West Photography, is a passionate photographer who loves capturing life's beautiful moments. Inspired by her mother's dedication to documenting her childhood, Pam developed an early appreciation for preserving memories. A former high school teacher, Pam values following one's passion. She connects deeply with her clients, capturing their personalities and stories through authentic, relatable images. Pam's talent for photography and connecting with people makes her a sought-after photographer in her community.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. She's a lovely, lovely human and great friend and talented photographer. She's mostly shooting headshots and branding now.
Yeah, and now that she's leaving, it's great. You can just take her spot.
Yeah. I got my headshot set up going just in time.
You just get her office. You're like, I'm Pam. Dye your hair red.
I'm Pam.
You look good with red hair.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. All right. Get on over here. We'll give her a call.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Pam.
Hey.
You look so good.
First thing I noticed is like
thanks.
Pam's light is perfect.
Yeah, I know.
You have us backlit.
It's the nice window light. You know, you gotta have it. I have a little glare, but we'll ignore that. You guys are okay.
No, we're not good.
It's okay. It's just a podcast.
I
It's
know.
audio.
Nobody's seeing us. That's right.
Pam, we were just smoozing about, what's the word?
That's not it. I don't know what you're looking for, but that's not it.
we were talking about how amazing you are.
Yeah.
Aw. Well, thanks. You two are pretty great as well.
We're okay.
Thanks.
We're all right. We'll do.
Pam's like famous now. I think she was on another podcast this week.
She was.
I was
Wow.
Is this your third one?
I'm just gonna take it up as a career now. Podcasting.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
She's got to make more money now that she's going to live in the boonies.
Yeah, where are you
middle of
moving
nowhere.
to?
So we're moving to a place called Blind River.
Oh my god. No.
Yeah. And
No.
it's halfway between Sudbury and Sault Ste. Marie. So
Oh my god.
it's a bit far. It's a very small town.
Just imagine
gonna be
Pam in
great.
like an apron collecting eggs from
It's-
her.
It's really smart that you've started this homesteading journey
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Well-
you're moving for your husband's job.
Yes. So he was formerly with Hamilton Police and had the opportunity to move over to the OPP. And with that came the chance for relocation. So we thought, you know what? We would love to have more space in our actual home and not have our kids share a bedroom anymore because they're, 10 and 12. It's the time when they need some personal space. We all need some personal space. So yeah, we thought let's do it. Let's go and have an adventure.
Well, you will be missed. We're going to miss
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Yeah.
We'll be
Yeah.
thinking about you all the time. We'll still message you with our client problems.
Absolutely. I'm here for it.
Quick question: are you going to try to do photography there, or
It's a
we
great
taking
question.
a break?
For now, I'm taking a hiatus because I don't really know what the demographic is going to be like and what the clientele will support.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I don't really think it's the place where like headshots and personal branding is going to thrive. I
Yeah.
might have to like go to the city for that. And I'm not really sure if I'm prepared to do like the hour and a half drive to either Sudbury or
Yeah.
Sault Ste. Marie. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Maybe I'll, dive back into families. Maybe I'll just take a break. I
Go back
don't
to
know.
teaching?
I might supply teach for a bit. That's kind of on the table, but full time, every day teaching is not really, it's not really pulling me yet. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see what happens.
I think
Yeah.
she's gonna become a content creator with renoing her
With it.
house.
Yeah, with the
Yeah. Are
peeling
you
off
gonna
the
get
wallpaper.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Yeah, I'm on board. Um so like you're gonna have a homestead there, like chickens and
Well, we plan to eventually, hopefully. So
yeah.
again, it's sort of all in a process this year. It probably won't happen just with the move and the
Yeah.
potential redecorating. But yes, we're moving the bees. Like, well, we're getting new bees. We hope to have chickens, maybe not as many as we had here, maybe more. Who knows? We'll see. Yeah, but the Happy Homestead is definitely going to live on, and that's where we'll, share all our journey and renovation stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exciting.
Cool.
Yeah.
So on the podcast today, we were talking a lot about community. We were
Hmm.
talking about the meetup that we did
Hmm.
the other day, how much we love community building, and
Yes.
that's actually how we both met you through
Yeah.
like a community building day, like a
Yeah.
meetup, a headshot exchange.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, real quick, can you tell Dorothy how you came up with your name, 10 West Photography?
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
I
sure.
was thinking about that.
Yeah. It actually has to do with the address of our home right now
Oh,
because my current, like my married name is Crichton, and that can be spelled many different ways and said many different ways. And it doesn't like shared at me for a business name. Parkinson is my maiden name. I didn't love that. I didn't want to use my middle name. I just wasn't loving like having
what's
my
your middle
name
name?
connected. It's Gale, Gale, which is, I love
Oh,
it. And
Yeah.
it's like a family name.
yeah.
But it just didn't, I was like, Pamela Gale Photography. It's not really, like,
Pamela
I feel like I'm getting in
Yale.
trouble.
I
Like I'm
like it.
getting in trouble, right? Like,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Pamela
Kind of
Gale,
sounds like a fake stripper name.
yeah. Yeah, kind of.
I wasn't going there
Sorry.
either. So,
A fake one.
Yeah.
so
You're not even a real stripper. You're a fake
right,
stripper,
just a
Pam.
fake one, just a pretend one. I thought about like mixing my two kids' names together, but it all sounded hokey. Like it was hard to come up with a name. And then I was like,
Yeah.
okay, what about like where we live? Like it's a significant place for, where we started our family and we do love this house. So the address is 10 West Site Avenue. And I was like, well, that's everyone says like Westy or We Site or website.
Mm.
And I thought, well, I'm just gonna like kind of play with the letters and like 10 West. That sounds cool. Like it just sounded cool.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I went with it. Yeah,
Nice.
that was it.
Very creative.
I did
Yeah.
not put that much thought into my name.
Same.
I just was like, Dorothy May, photography.
Well,
What's up?
that's
Done and
it's a
done.
little easier maybe for you.
Well, I think I didn't have anything that was significant and like yeah, sometimes when I do see people's names, I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here. Or yeah, I just was like, I'll just
Right.
do my name and
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
had a
It's
studio too. So like it makes
yeah,
sense
mhm.
to like brand it under like a studio.
yeah,
Right.
Whereas like most photographers will just start up taking photography and their brand is
Yeah.
themselves. So they'll just name it
Yeah.
after
yeah,
themselves.
Totally. As a business name, right? Like this could branch out into something different, right? Like 10 West
Totally.
Studios or 10 West, I don't know,
yeah,
editing or whatever. So, because I didn't really know where I was going at that point, but
yeah. I
Nice.
mean,
funny.
10 West would be something the Kardashians would name one of their kids.
See,
You're
there you
very
go.
on trend.
Very on trend. I was, a forward thinker.
Pam did it
So
first.
I want to dive back into community. I want to
Mm,
know your thoughts on community. Obviously, you are a huge community builder. Everyone loves you.
mm,
You could see
mm,
that at Millworks. Everyone just like is drawn to
mm,
you. Um, how would you say that like community has helped you in your business and like what
mm,
have you learned from like our meetups and stuff? Like,
mm. So much. I think community is so important. And I know like some people are potentially threatened by other photographers. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that really comes from a place of insecurity in what you are doing yourself. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think it definitely takes a little while to become confident enough to reach out for community and build that community. But once you have it, honestly, it's so valuable.
Mm-hmm.
There have been days where, I've gotten an email and I don't know what to say. Often this happens in reverse too, right? Other people say, how do I respond to this email? Or, hey guys, I have a session and it's pouring rain. It's going to rain. What do I do? Where would you go? Or do you have a
Mm-hmm.
location suggestion in, you know, Mississauga? Because I don't shoot there normally, but that's where my clients are. So it's really been helpful for kind of problem solving through the day to day where, like, I can't ask just my friends who are teachers that. I can't ask my husband that because they don't really know. Or like, hey guys, my lens isn't working. What do I do? Like, where do I take it? So,
Yeah.
in that sense of like local community, it's really been helpful to, again, like just problem solve and be supportive for each other. So,
Yeah.
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 I think photographers do it in a really good way though, because like um I know that like some other like businesses or careers or whatever, when you're sole proprietor, like they might not be so community driven.
Right.
So I mean I think photographers in a whole, like, we're pretty like social people usually to some
Mm.
degree.
I think there's a lot of on the Enneagram thing, 2 3s that are photographers.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
probably.
and
Wait, what is Pam?
Pam's a 2 3 as
I'm
Oh,
well.
a two, wing
that
three.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's always been like that, but like I just started like feeling this sense of community like maybe 5 years ago. I
Hmm.
before I like I was just alone. I was like doing my own thing. I never reached out to any other photographers. So I don't know if this is like kind of a new thing, community over
Hmm.
competition, if it always used to be like that. Do you remember like how was it for you like 10 years ago?
Yeah. When I started, I was very alone for sure.
Yeah.
And again, like with my studio space, there was another photographer in town who had a studio space and who I knew. And I reached out in terms of like, can I mentor with you? Can I? And they were like, no, I don't offer that. I don't. And they were very kind of like to themselves. So I thought, okay, that's
Mhm.
maybe just the way it goes.
Yeah.
But then as I kind of continued on and like followed other people and like, other photographers would reach out or comment on, posts or stories or whatever, kind of social media, I think really has helped develop that because
Right.
it makes us feel like we're more connected, even than we maybe are, right? Like I
Yeah.
have a community on social media that I haven't met
Yeah.
many of those people. So, but we're still connected and we can still be a community that way.
Yeah.
So I think social media has really helped that. And that's only really been in the last kind of maybe 5 or so years too. So
Yeah.
for sure.
It's so
Okay.
interesting because like I feel like I came in totally differently. Like I
Mm,
wasn't a photographer like really when I started. So I started by yeah, sure, like taking photos of friends and stuff, but I started going to Instagram meetups.
yeah.
Someone gave me a camera. So my interaction, my first interaction was like literally doing meetups where you would like go to a waterfall and you'd all hang out and take photos of each
Yeah.
other, and then like you'd go to a cafe or whatever. So I think for me, like, that was like really big in shaping like how I did community like right off the bat. And then
Hmm.
I was just like dabbling in it, and then had met photographers, and then they basically were like, "Oh yeah, like join us." Like,
You should do this.
so
Yeah.
One of us.
it's interesting because then like I have had other friends who said the same thing as you. Like when they started out, it was kind of just them and they really didn't know how to like grow or like what to do, and they were kind of more like alone um
Hmm.
in that sense. So it's like really interesting, and I think like for me I started like, yeah, like 8 years ago, 7 years ago. So like that's probably when the shift was happening again, social media. um but yeah, it's like interesting how some people started more on their own, and then I feel like now it's definitely more community driven. But I loved your point about at the very beginning where you're saying like um feeling, I guess, less confident to
Hmm.
like join things. That's a really
Yeah.
interesting point I hadn't thought of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it has a lot of impact on it, right? And I've even met people who are starting into photography and they're like, "Oh, I couldn't come to a meetup. I can't. Like I haven't even like started anything. I have 100 followers. I'm like, that doesn't even matter. Like,
Yeah.
what matters is getting experience, getting practice, being around other people that you can ask questions to.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Mhm.
huge. Like,
Mhm.
so, and I think that the more open that you are in sharing that, the more that you're going to attract those people that are similar, right? Like,
Mhm.
it's that whole law of attraction thing.
We had someone come to the headshot exchange who literally, she was like, these are my first photos I've ever taken.
It was her first day doing photography.
No way.
Yeah, it was so
That's
cute. I was so proud of
amazing.
her.
She loved
That's
Effie, not me.
amazing. Of
That's
course.
fine.
She probably loved you too. I just hung
I
out
didn't
with her a
actually,
lot.
I actually didn't really talk to her, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, but
That's
yeah.
so cool. Like, good for them, because that's hard
Yeah.
too, like
Yeah.
getting in front of other photographers who have been doing it for a while. But
Yeah.
Well, I wrote in the thing, which I don't think many people read. I was like,
If
it's
you own a
if you own
camera.
a camera and sort of know how to
amazing.
use it, you're welcome to come. And she like
Awesome.
literally messaged and she was like, I sort of know how to use it. Like, do I fall in the category? And I was like, yeah,
Yeah, come. Yeah.
literally.
That's so good. And like your impact there can, probably will change that person's life. Like in a small or large way. But
Yeah.
just the impact that you were like welcoming and said, yes, come,
Yeah.
like, doesn't matter your experience, will have an impact on their life in some way,
Yeah.
shape, or form. So like that's pretty cool. So
Yeah, it
Oh,
is
no, I
cool.
think I
yeah.
did it wrong.
Yeah.
That
What do you
was
mean?
because
Whatever.
I didn't talk to her. I'm like, oh my
I
gosh,
talked to her.
now.
Don't worry. I talked to her a lot.
Like Pam's like, you're impacting
No,
this person.
you
I'm like,
just gave,
No,
but
you're
you
in
gave
a
the
good way.
experience and you gave
Yeah.
her the opportunity, right? And that is key. So
Yeah.
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 regardless of whether you actually interact, it's hard when you're hosting something too, right? You
That's
can't talk to everybody. So
Effie and I are a good setup because I'll set up the thing and then or Effie can be the like nice person that everyone talks to.
I like don't even focus on taking pictures. I take
that's
like
her too.
yeah.
That's her two
I
You're
just
like
make
personality right
twirling
there.
around.
I was like, "Do you need a model?"
Yeah.
So
Okay.
good.
We have so many questions. I'm just gonna try to
Yeah.
pick.
I'm gonna stop talking.
What what's your favorite part about being a photographer?
Mm, so hard. I love so much of it. But honestly, I think it's the people. It's the people that I meet and the stories that they tell me and what they share with me. And because I've sort of branched into headshots and personal branding, I have a lot of clients who are, trying something new or leaving their corporate job or, kind of doing different things, which is what I have done from leaving teaching to, focusing on photography.
Mhm.
So it's really cool to hear their stories and kind of share that commonality that we have. So yeah, definitely the people are the highlight for me in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd have to agree.
Yeah.
And also just like the two in me is like serving and like giving them something that they love and they need and just like
Hmm.
really helping them out. And
Absolutely.
then just like getting that feedback that's like, I
Yeah.
love these. Thank you so much. And I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm complete.
You're like my 2-3-ness has been fed.
Okay, I've just been obsessed with Enneagrams after like my whole natal chart reading. I went into Enneagrams and I'm just like, I'm obsessed with it right
It
now.
was
Just like
like
over the last
I
week.
I think I brought it up
Yeah.
on the podcast because I
Yeah.
was like, oh, it's interesting you got that because like being friends, like you start figuring each other out and like
Yeah.
seeing your differences and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think like not like actively trying to figure Effie out, but I was like, oh, I wonder what your Enneagram is or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. What is
Um,
yours, Dorothy?
I'm a 3-4, but Effie's trying to
Okay.
convince me that I'm a 4-3, but I was like, nah, girl, nah. She literally was like, I think you're backwards.
Oh.
Yeah, because she
I
thinks
don't
I'm
know.
really emotional and like in my head, and like I
Mm,
was like, yes and no, but
okay.
I'm not like fours. You can tell like fours, like when you meet a 4, you're like, oh yeah, like
You're a four.
yeah, like you're overthinking everything, which I
Hmm.
do think I do overthink some things when it comes to relationships, but not everything like a 4.
Hmm.
So
It's so
we'll see.
interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask a question?
So
Shoot.
your story on your website is like your mom kind of like started
Hmm.
your whole love of it.
Hmm.
So what like dive into that maybe a bit more? Like what
Yeah,
did your
for
mom
sure.
do or
Yeah.
was it just that she loved taking images of you guys as
Yeah.
kids?
Yeah,
Uh,
totally. Like we grew up with my mom always having a camera. I mean, in these days, was film
Yeah.
cameras, and like you got your 24 shots or your 12 shots, and that's it, right? So
Yeah.
on a camping trip, we would have 24 photos of
I
our
love
camping
that.
trip, right? So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. My dad built a custom shelf for all of the photo albums that we had, and they were numbered. Like my mom was hardcore in printing the photo, obviously printing the photos,
Yeah.
uh, and writing like names and dates on the back of them, like
Cute.
super organized, and putting them in albums. And all the albums were numbered with the date on them. And so they were in order. So like I grew up with that and like looking back at our family memories. So that
Mm-hmm.
was like really a key part of me always wanting to capture the memories. Like in high school, I always had the little, camera with me, and I would always get doubles back in the day when you could get, a second set of prints for 199 or whatever. And then I would give them to the people who were in the photos, because that's
Yeah.
just like, I just loved, you know, kind of
Yeah.
having those memories for myself. So why wouldn't everyone else want that too? Right.
That's
So
awesome.
it kind of was a natural thing for me
Yeah.
to be asked to take photos at my friends' weddings when they started getting married.
Yeah.
So because I had always had an eye and I always had the enthusiasm for it. So yeah, I shot a couple of weddings without being a wedding photographer.
Yep.
I paid $200 and thought I hit the jackpot. Like
Yeah.
it was amazing. Um, yeah, so that was kind of like me dipping my toe into actually doing it at like as a side gig. And then after I had my girls, I was not interested in going back teaching full time with my husband's shift work,
Yeah.
and commuting to Milton every day. It just wasn't what we wanted for our family. So I thought,
Yeah.
okay, I need to make a few extra $100 a month, because that would be the difference between putting them in daycare and me working, or being home and not working. But I need to do something. So
Mhm.
started taking pictures of friends, kids, and that kind of stuff, families that trusted me. Like, good for
Yeah.
them. Thank you for those first
I know.
families. Like, honestly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't really know what I was doing. I took a few online like posing guide tips, but yeah. And then I was like, okay, let's do this. Wow, I
Yeah.
can really do this. So
So you were teaching when you did those first weddings.
yeah, yeah.
What made you go into teaching even though you had this like natural skill?
I think it was like the thing you do. Like,
Yeah.
you finish high school, you go to university or college, or like you go to post secondary, you follow in some footsteps. My mom was a teacher,
Okay.
so like that was kind of again natural in our work environment. I love people. I like talking,
Yeah.
so it was a natural career path for me. Um, and it was great, and I love teaching. And again, I may go back to it in some capacity, but again, because we wanted to focus on our family, we chose to, and it was a mutual decision, right? It wasn't like I just said, hey, husband, I'm just going to do this, right? He really supported me in saying, yeah,
Yeah.
I want you to be home too, and raise the babies, and, you know, figure out something else you can do to not completely go insane, because it's a lot of work. It's like,
Yeah.
those little humans.
Yeah.
Um,
It's so interesting because, like, I'm like, well, now I'm there. And it's like, I feel like it's almost the opposite because it's like I had a full career, then had a kid. And now I'm like, how do I fit them side by side? And that's like
mhm.
a really weird balancing
Yeah.
act that you're just like, I don't know. Like, either way, because you had two.
It's hard.
So,
And even in the beginning, like when I first had my studio space and had the girls at home, and I would edit and shoot only when my husband was home and off
yeah.
from his work. So I didn't have a regular schedule. My
Yeah.
turnaround time was atrocious. Like
Yeah.
2 weeks was amazing. If I got your
Yeah.
photos back to you in 2 weeks, like that was fantastic for me. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been 10 days. I need to get them back. Right. Like,
Mhm.
um, so not having the routine that I now have once like kids are in school and I have my kind of, everything established, it's hard. It's hard to find that kind of balance. But because I didn't know that
Hmm.
balance before, I
Yeah.
think it kind of becomes easier. We've really tried to kind of, reestablish some sort of family time, because it's
Yeah.
hard too. Like
It's so
Yeah.
amazing, like, what you did, and I know, like, even, like, we haven't talked a ton about it, but, like, I remember when I had Maisel and I was like, "What? Like, this is what this is like? This is insane," and I remember going to my friends who had kids and being like, "I'm so sorry I wasn't there for you," like, and then, yeah, like, you just, like, so many things happen, and just even sometimes your spouse doesn't get exactly, like, the juggling act, and, like, yeah, I know whenever I talk to you about it, I'm always like, "Oh,
Yeah.
she sees me."
Yeah. And it's hard until you've been in a situation or and close to that situation. It's hard to get it, right? So I know because of that struggle that it's so important to be able to tell other people you will get through it. Like, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not going to sugarcoat it and say, it will all be amazing and rainbows and right. Like it gets different. But this hard won't last forever. And I think
yeah,
that's what got me through it. And that's what I want to encourage other people in whatever state it is, kids or no kids, like whatever hard it is, it's not going to last forever and you will get through it. But it's hard to see that for yourself. So if you can see that someone else has already been there, done that, and they can reach out and give you those encouraging words, which is why I tell you about the person who came, you know, to the meetup with having their first shoot ever. Like
yeah,
it's so encouraging to have someone say like, it's okay. Like you'll get there. And,
Hmm.
you know, yeah, it's hard. And I do see you, you know, so yeah,
Hmm.
I think that encouraging other people, like it's never a bad thing.
mhm,
It's a really important thing. And yeah, it
Hmm.
just kind of circles back to that community piece.
Hmm.
yeah.
So yeah. Yeah.
Photographers are such an interesting breed because, like, a lot of us have it as, like, a full-time job or with
Mm,
kids, or they have, like, another job like Bree.
Yeah.
Bree has, like,
yeah.
4 jobs. I'm like, "I don't
Yeah.
know, girl."
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot. And I don't think people realize that too. Like a lot of our clients don't realize what other things we're trying to juggle.
Yeah.
So, you know, just kind of being transparent is great because then people can see there are other sides to you. And like if they see you at the mall or picking up a pizza, they're like, how come you're not editing our photos? Right?
I
Yeah.
Like,
know, eh?
It's
It's
such a
weird.
yeah.
weird because our schedule, our timelines don't make, like, sense because it's, like, not a 9 to 5. It's, like,
Whenever you have time.
but all and also always,
And
like,
always.
like, holidays, it's like, "Oh, am I off enjoying the holiday? No, I
No.
edited Sneaks for
Or
a
like
wedding."
or
Yeah.
like you kind of feel obligated to work during the holidays because that's when all the other families are together and
Or
that's like
yeah.
the only time they can take
Yeah.
photos. So then you're like, well, I guess I have to take photos of them during the
Yeah.
holidays. I
Totally.
don't know when holidays are anymore. I don't book them off. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it's a holiday today? Keith, you're home today? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
sorry, I
Yeah.
have a full day of shoots. No wonder it's a full day of shoots on Monday.
Yeah.
Weird."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna go into some scenarios.
Oh, super.
I wrote these, so I hope they make sense.
They do, they do.
Oh, good.
Okay, here's one sample client. How would you handle a situation where a client booked you and then requested a different editing style than your usual one?
Dun, dun,
Hmm.
dun.
Or even like a different like
Hmm.
style altogether. Like they send you like their inspo board and it's like not even
Mhm.
photos that like are close to what you do.
So is this before the shoot happens or after the shoot happens? Because there's two different
Ugh.
scenarios here.
Ideally, it would be both, but I've had it where it's been after.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
really?
I have had
if
that,
it's
yeah.
before, yeah, like that's a sticky, not nice situation. But if it's before and they're showing you inspiration, I would definitely be communicating with them and saying like, this is not my typical style. You can see examples of my work on my website and my social media, which I
Mhm.
clearly state before booking.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, I would say like it really depends. So again, because we are our own bosses, we can decide if we want to take that on and take that challenge. Like I know I've had wedding clients who are like, "Oh, I like a little darker, moodier edit than your typical style, but we want you." And I was like, "Okay, I can do that." Like I want to
Mhm.
work with you and
Mhm.
I can do darker and moodier. And also like lighting has everything to do with how
Yeah.
my photos turn out. So I
Yeah.
can work with that. However, if it's a client that maybe I have never had an experience with before, and I'm already sensing that it's going to be a lot of effort on my end that isn't something that I'm willing to do, then I will communicate with them that maybe it's not a good fit, and I would highly recommend these photographers because those are in their style that they're looking for. I have
Yeah.
no problem referring clients out. Like, and again, that comes with that, maybe that confidence building piece that in the beginning I was like, I'm going to take every client, any client. But now, like, if it's not a good fit, or you want me to go too far where I don't want to go, or, you want dark and moody and I'm not that, or if you want like super bright and airy and I'm not that, then I'll totally refer out. I have
Yeah.
no problem with that. Like,
Yeah.
there's enough clients for everybody.
Yeah.
If this happened after the fact, it's really tough. But I would probably have a blunt conversation with them and ask them what they expected. Because having viewed my portfolio online, examples of my work everywhere they see it, I would ask them what they expected, because for me, it's fairly consistent. Again, yes, lighting has, impact, but people are pretty consistent in their portfolios. So
Yeah.
I don't have as much sort of sympathy or compassion for having an after the fact conversation of, this isn't what I wanted from you, but if that's not what I plan to deliver, then
I actually legitimately messaged you one time about this scenario. I'm
yeah,
realizing.
yeah,
But that was
mhm,
interesting because that was a photographer, and I was just
mhm,
like, what? And then
yeah,
I think our solution was, um, I was like, we can make anything black and white that
yeah,
you want.
yeah,
That was also like, I thought, like, I was like, yeah, I'm okay with that. Cause like,
yeah,
that's usually my solution. Like, even if I hire somebody whose edit isn't the same as mine, or like I have friends who take photos of me and I'm like, oh, I love this photo, but like, I want to put it on my Instagram feed, and nobody cares about your feed the way we do.
right,
But every once in a while I'm like, oh, it's just bothering me. So like how do you feel if it's black and white? And I'm like, that's a great solution. Cause
yeah,
yeah, black and white
yeah.
solve all problems.
Black and white can definitely solve a lot of problems.
It
I
does.
know
Is
that
it
one.
blurry? Black and white art.
Okay,
Are we
the
out
other
of
night,
focus?
Out of
Black and
focus?
white.
Black and white.
I was editing a gallery, but I was also very high. And I started making a bunch of them black and white. And I go to Keith, I'm like, Keith, black and white is so underrated. This is
Have
art.
you seen
Like,
my
this is
Instagram?
so good. Cause I hardly ever, like, I'd say like less than 10% of my
Like
photos are delivered in black and white.
90% of my
I
photos are
know.
in black and white.
It's
Like
true. It's true.
literally, like
I love color, but then
Wow.
yeah.
yeah, I had that revelation. And I'm like, I'm not going to send this till the morning when I'm not high, just to make sure these are good. And they were. I did still like them.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, black and white can solve a lot of problems for sure.
Yeah. I think overall, back to that scenario, I think
Yeah,
setting the correct expectations is
yeah,
key. That's
for
why
sure.
I also don't really have sympathy for people that get themselves in these scenarios, because I'm just like, well, you got to plan. You got to like set the expectations.
Right,
You can't just show up to a shoot and then just like expect everything to go perfectly. There's a lot
right,
of work that goes into
right.
pre shoots.
Yeah,
Wow.
for
She's
sure.
describing me.
No, I'm describing anyone that complains, and a lot of people complain. I just find a lot of photographers are complaining right now.
I'm
Not
not a
you.
I complain to you.
Yes, but
But then like as I'm complaining, I'm like, I already know what you're going to say. I don't want to hear it. I just need to vent.
Yeah.
let's go into another
Venting is,
scenario.
yeah.
Yeah. I think this is a scenario that I literally
This one, yeah. This is the last scenario Dorothy complained to me about.
the whole internet actually.
The whole, yeah. Pam, how would you handle this situation where a client pays a retainer, accepted a Google invite, basically books with you?
I actually talked to
Mhm,
Pam about this, I think.
Yeah, they
mhm,
confirmed all the details, you know when you're shooting, you know where.
mhm,
Um,
mhm,
and then you show up to your session, they don't show up.
mhm.
And then later on, they say, oh, we actually booked with another photographer. And they just like, they didn't show up to their session. What would you do?
I mean, at that point, there's not much to do, other than, I mean, they've wasted your time, which is unfortunate. However, if you've collected your retainer slash deposit, great, you're keeping that for your time
Hmm.
lost, and everyone goes on their merry way. I mean,
Would you feel obligated to give back your retainer?
no, no.
Would you, Dorothy?
I'm going to be honest about this question.
You should.
I didn't get a retainer.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a slightly different situation, but I mean,
No, you know what though?
yeah,
So I was talking to a bunch of people about this, and I was like, listen, in 8 years, this has never happened to me. And
Yeah.
I was like, I am gonna beef up my retainer situation. Like, if I have to drive
Yeah.
far,
Yeah.
whatever, if I've booked off a
Yeah.
Saturday, whatever, like minis, sure. But
Mhm.
an average weekday session, sometimes I do tell them to pay the day of.
Mhm.
Most people pay before I even shoot. I actually weirdly did not check this session. And then I had felt something was off and I didn't really know what it was. And I had messaged them at like 4 o'clock being like, see you at Princess Point. And they messaged back saying, oh no, Dundurn Castle. And I was like, oh yeah. So I was like, everything's gravy, right? And I get there and yeah, I'm like, they're not here, they're not answering. And then after this, I actually I saw them, funny enough.
But not realizing it was them
Yeah. And then
at the
they
time.
were like, oh, we booked with this other person
At the
at,
same time, at the same place.
yeah. And I was like, it was an
That's so
age thing.
weird.
I don't think it was meant on purpose. I think but like the weird part about the emailing is like he never indicated he was shopping. It was basically like, can we book you? What's your services? What's your price?
Right.
Where are we meeting? Sounds good. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yeah.
like, and then I don't know what happened, and I was just like, this is weird.
Yeah.
So, at that point, he did offer to pay, and I was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
At that point, it's sort of like the cost of doing business is sometimes having these unfortunate situations happen. It sounds like a miscommunication, really.
yeah,
I mean, it sucks, but there's not a lot you can do
yeah.
at that
My
point.
brain was
Just
like,
take them off the ever booking again list.
well, I was just so confused because I
Really.
was like, you accepted a Google Cal invite from me, like,
Yeah.
you know, like everything sounded fine. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
well. But
Well,
Effie was like, yeah, you need a retainer and a contract. And I was like, I'm
yeah.
aware.
Well, and the best case scenario for you is that you have come away with that lesson, right? Or you're going to change a practice in your business that is
Were
going to
you?
make that
Yeah.
not happen again. So, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the lesson. So you're just really paying for that lesson.
Yeah.
And if
exactly.
you don't want to change it and it happens again, then
Yeah. I'm aware it's on me.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I ask this last one? You're
Sure.
like, why not? How would you handle a situation where the wedding client wants to stagger the start times of the primary and second shooter but still pay the same price?
No, it's a no for me.
It's
That's
a
just a
no
no.
from me.
There's like no
It's a
other
no.
information, just like you just
No.
respond no.
It's a no, thank you. Like it just like that's not the way that my model works. You could explain that in this situation, that's not the way that my business model works. As the primary photographer, I am doing these hours, whatever the situation is. Again, explaining is everything. Like communication is everything
Yeah.
in a customer based business, service based business. But yeah, like you got to set your boundaries because
Yeah.
otherwise you're just opening yourself up to people taking advantage of your kindness. And I've
Yeah.
had this, like I have had situations like this even recently. And somebody was like, okay, well, you're retouching like 33 photos for me. And I'm like, no, like 3 are included in your headshot package. So I will do the 3. Anything else is additional. Well, we spent extra time together. I'm like, well, exactly. But that also means extra time of editing. Like, so, but I was just firm in my boundaries and said, that's not the way it works. I did explain that to you before, and I will explain them to you again. But if you would like more editing, it's this fee. And so they were like, oh, okay, I'll scale it back and do the original, right? What we agreed upon. So sometimes people just need to be kind of reminded of what they had agreed to or what you presented them with in the beginning. And then they're, less likely to push back. And if they do push back, then maybe it's not a good fit.
Yeah.
Ultimately, like how badly do you want the job?
Yeah.
Right? Like, so
Sure.
that's, I think the bottom line is is this going to create other problems or other situations? Am I opening myself up to like them pushing other boundaries?
Yeah.
Or can I kind of, cut it off here and everyone be happy with where they're at?
It's so true. And it's actually like, as you're talking, I'm like, this is so relatable to being a parent and having a toddler. Because it's like, what do we say yes to? What do we say no to? Like, if we give an inch, they take a mile. But then also, it's like just re saying something that like maybe they didn't understand or they
Right.
forgot.
Yep.
But also, like, it's just like maybe like a simple like explanation of like why that doesn't like that's not the way things are
Right.
done. Like I've even had it where somebody was like, oh, like you give us 8 hours, so they were like, can you come for like 2 hours, then take a break and then come and finish the rest? And it's like, no, it's like start to finish. But like it's interesting how like majority of people might understand that concept, and then you get like one or two people who are like, oh, I didn't really understand that it was like a start time and then the timer is going.
Right. Yeah. So again, that communication piece, right? Like that's where the magic happens in understanding each other. So
Yeah.
I feel like those were too easy.
I know.
The stumpter.
I know.
I'm sorry. You want me to be
Can't
stumped?
think of any. We'll think of some other ones.
Yeah.
And we'll
Yeah.
post them on Edit Sesh Instagram.
Sounds good.
You just got to get more people to come in with their problems.
Yeah. And it's probably just because we've maybe talked those out before, right? So you were expecting me to say what I said.
True.
That's why it sounded easy. It's really not always easy to problem solve, but sometimes it's easier coming from someone else too, right? So, and again, that comes back to those group chats.
Half the piece too is also like maybe a little bit emotional, because it's like our business is important. So then it's like relationship and sometimes you just need to take like a step back and then respond.
Taking a step back is a big step, I think. Like not responding in the moment. You can like write something out and not send it, but just like trying to like get back into like a calm place.
Well,
that's important.
Both of you too, right? Because like I feel like if they get an answer back really quickly and it's not one they were expecting or wanting, then it's like then they're responding and then it does get a little bit out of control.
Yeah. Good tips.
Definitely writing it out and then waiting 24 hours for sure.
Yeah, I write notes in my phone if I have like an email. I know I got an email recently from a challenging client who, wanted extra things. And I was like, what? Like what? And immediately, right? Like your heart rate goes up and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to get back. And like, no, I just write my response in my phone as a note and then take a break from it. Like, I don't need to respond to this person immediately. Like, and that's the other thing about email and social media. We have come to expect like instantaneous responses. And I think that we as business owners need to, again, establish those boundaries. Like, it's after whatever time I'm not going to respond, or, hey, it's 11 o'clock and I can respond if I have the capacity, right?
Yeah.
So give yourself that space, that headspace to like, let your nervous system calm down a little bit and not be like so quick to jump back at them. And then, reread your response and say, okay, how can I word that so that this will maintain the relationship or set them in the right direction that you want, right?
Yeah. Awesome.
So true.
Those were such great tips, Pam.
Oh, thanks.
We love talking to you.
It's fun. It's so easy talking to you guys. You guys are great.
Aw,
it's
thank
so
you.
easy talking to you.
Thanks.
Seriously.
I regret not hanging out more.
I'm still around for a bit, so
we'll see you again.
We'll hang out
before you leave.
We'll have some donuts or something.
Awesome. Okay, we're gonna say bye, but
thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. As soon as we started this podcast, I was like, we got to have Pam on. So finally,
I'm glad it finally worked.
Yeah,
finally.
Yeah. Okay, bye, Pam.
Thank you.
That last tip was a really good one from Pam. I feel like that's the takeaway, is like giving yourself a minute, like writing a response.
Yeah, that is important. I feel like there are many times that Keith has saved me from responding something like right away while I'm angry.
I didn't think you got angry.
I've gotten better. I've gotten better at like just putting my phone down and not responding to something in the moment if it makes me angry. And then just remembering that the client is always right.
Yeah.
But not always, but like setting boundaries and then also making them happy.
Well, it's crazy because like as a photographer, like we're doing everything, right? Like whereas like companies might have like a whole department for like
customer service,
booking and customer service and like whereas like we're doing
it all.
Which is like we're not having the influx of like a major company, but still it's like
that's wearing a lot of hats and they're expecting you to like be good at each one of those sides of your business.
Yeah, exactly. Like even just like when we did the SEO hangout on Monday, there's so many things that I was learning about the website, even though we've had him on the podcast. And like I've met up with Jules and I was just like, there's always something that's going to slip through the cracks because you literally just can't do it all. So whether it's like you decide to be more proficient on the website or like Instagram or something, or like your thing is like really good at HR or you're really good at taxes, like there's always going to be something where you're like, I'm not great at this like one thing. And for me, it happens to be majority of things but photography.
I would say you also need help with photography. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
What?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, it's so mean.
I know. That was
the meanest thing you've ever said to me.
I was just trying to make a funny joke.
Oh, I'm gonna go cry
because it's
later.
clearly untrue. I literally hire you for everything, so clearly it's untrue. Everything. All right, so to finish off the podcast, we should do a contest. What should we make the prize? Should we make it a mini session where we both shoot?
Oh my gosh.
You get 2 photographers.
That would be so like difficult to schedule.
Kinda, yeah, it would.
Would it have to be like, is it weird to be like, let's do it in the fall, winter? That's so far away.
What can if
we could just give 2 mini sessions away? One gets you, one gets me.
Yeah. Let's do it. Okay, how do we do it? They have to share a post.
But majority
on their story.
of the people who are going to do this, one, either it's going to be like Joy or it's going to be another photographer.
Doesn't matter. If you listen, you are getting rewarded. That's literally what we're doing it for.
Okay.
Yeah. Even if you do not want to win, do it. Just so we know who's listening.
Yeah. So how?
And if you don't want to win, just tell us.
Okay. So the contest rules. Share.
We will make a post.
Oh.
When on the day that this podcast comes out.
Okay.
There'll be like a winky face on it. So you know. In the caption, there'll be a winky face.
Okay.
Like. Comment.
Favorite podcast episode?
Yeah. Comment your favorite podcast episode in the comments. And should they share it or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Share it to your story.
But you also have to tag us in the share so we know.
Tag us in the share. So like hit the sticker, hit mention, type edit Sesh, just so we can see that you shared it.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
You got to tag all 3 of us.
Okay.
Me, Effie, and the edit Sesh.
Okay. Perfect.
So we're going to rewrite these somewhere.
We'll write it in the show notes.
Okay, show notes.
Everyone check the show notes.
Show notes. If you're confused by anything, check the show notes.
Okay.
Or email or DM us or whatever.
Okay. If you win, you can request your photographer.
Oh, no. That was a challenge between us. Everyone's like, I want Abby.
No, I was going to say everyone's going to want you.
We're both equally as talented.
You're going to like your photos no matter what.
I always like my photos no matter what, though, because I have an 85 and it's buttery cream and delicious.
Are we pitching right now? Why you should choose me? Why you should choose Dorothy? I have an 85 buttery cream.
You have a lot going on for you. You have more time. I probably have a less flexibility in my schedule.
I do probably have more flexibility.
I have a Canon, which is far superior than a Sony.
I have a Sony, and if you choose me, I may also do a little bit of video.
Oh, if you choose me, I'll probably give you a couple frames of film.
Ooh, if you choose me, I will bring snacks.
Yeah.
Donuts.
Oh, I said faux. Wow, I'm lame.
I ran out of pho. I ate it all.
You're like, I'll also bring Juno
I could.
and Keith. And I'm like, I don't want to bring Ruben, Maisel, or Ginny.
No, I'm not going to bring them.
Yeah.
Anyways.
All right.
Okay. That's great.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Where can they find you?
They can find me at FB Edits Photo on Instagram.
Nice. And they can find me at DorothyMay_.
And also follow our
Super hilarious.
you can see our viral videos.
30 likes.
Edit Sesh Pod. Follow us.
Okay, bye.
Bye.